Here is a drawing I made quite some time ago, brothers and sisters, of our dear friend Usopp, and certainly he's kind of the center of attention here in this particular chapter and the next, so I thought it would be fitting. If you like this type of thing, remember to follow me on all the social networks.
Chapter 185 of One Piece. Oh, is that so?
It's always just so fun and entertaining, I tell you. Well, hello, my brothers and sisters of the Nerd Nation. I, as always, am Jim, here to bring you another review on the excellently written tale of One Piece. Our last chapter, of course, saw the fight focusing on Usopp and Chopper versus the Baroque Works agent duo of Miss Merry Christmas with her mole devil fruit power, and Mr. Four, the cleanup hitter, with his gun/dog thing that goes and fires exploding baseballs at him, and he's able to obviously swing this like 2-ton bat or whatever that he's got, and be pretty effective in that manner. So. That's where we left off, though. Ultimately, Usopp went and pulled out, he jumped into one of the mole holes and came out one of the other ones behind Mr. Four and pulled out this hammer that appears to be this weighted 5-ton hammer and smashes him on the head. Mr. Four looks like he's been incapacitated, and that's how the chapter ends, right? So that's, of course, where this chapter, starts off, and I felt like, and I almost feel like an ass, because in my last review I was asking questions about it and everything else. Maybe I was reading too much into it, but my intuition was correct, apparently my bat sense is good. Or my spidey sense is good, because it was, I guess, pretty obvious that Usopp, being, one of the more normal human members of the Straw Hats, was not going to be lifting any type of 5-ton hammer anytime soon. So we find out, and this is where I like to say, you can put lipstick on a pig, but at the end of the day, it's still a pig, okay? And what that means is that when the lipstick comes off the pig, you can go and dress up anything any way you want, right, to make it appear good, but at closer inspection, or after a period of time, the luster, the shine kind of wears off. The lipstick comes off the pig, and then you're like, oh my god, it's a pig, right? So that's what happened with this one, and it escalated and then just decelerated very, very quickly. We we see within the first couple of pages, and Usopp's all big and bad, and he's like, yeah, I'll sign autographs later, that type of thing. He's like, now you're next, mole lady. So he goes to nail her, and in perfect Oda fashion, you can tell just some of the things that he maybe likes about the Western culture and stuff like that. You can see that shine through in some of his writing and some of the little nuances and things like that. Well, I don't know about all around the world, but I know that growing up in arcades and arcade-type places out here in the States, going to things like Chuck E. Cheese and Showbiz Pizza when I was a kid, and in arcades, even like GameWorks and Dave & Buster's nowadays, they always have these like whack-a-mole type games, where there's things that pop up, moles they look like, and you're hitting them as quickly as you can with a hammer. So it's kind of funny, because there's this whole scene where he's just like, whack, whack, he's like, Usopp hammer, Usopp hammer, he's trying to use this thing, and she's appearing and disappearing at all the different holes. So definitely a funny exchange. We wind up finding out, though, very quickly, because, with that, he can't swing this 5-ton hammer, because then we go and we see Mr. Four, and he kind of is like, hey, what happened, and he kind of shook off what had happened to him. And, and Miss Merry Christmas is like, Jesus, he doesn't even have a scratch or a bump on his head, And Usopp's like, he's inhuman or whatever, Well, the dog, the Lassoo, the dog gun or whatever, goes and fires one of the exploding, basically goes, achoo, and fires an exploding snot or an exploding ball or what have you at Usopp's hammer that's in his outstretched hand. And then they're like, paper mache? And it's kind of funny, because Oda draws this whole diagram afterwards to go and explain the intricacies and the inner workings of this hammer that Usopp built. And it was really kind of ingenious, because he went and, so it could be collapsible, he went and, yes, the outer part was like a paper mache, but he's got this pole with these, it's almost like a spring-loaded type thing, where there's a frying pan on each side to be the ends of the hammer, and then it says false labeling for the 5T, the 5 tons, but it's collapsible, so you can obviously carry it around with them and then just pull it out, and hopefully you're still going to get, you're not going to get the same type of, you're not going to get the same type of impact from a frying pan as you would from a 5-ton hammer, but a lot of it is, a frying pan's gonna put most normal people on their ass, at least, and it was definitely, I think, a good, a good little bit of trickery. So very, very, very comical, very funny in nature, and really neat how it was all drawn out what he had there. So the next portion of the chapter is really then, Miss Merry Christmas kind of being upset, like that, hey, you tried to pull a fast one on us. So she goes and starts coming after Usopp, man, and she's popping out of holes, and she's trying to grab him and everything else. And then we have Chopper that's going, and then she directs Mr. Four to go in, and she's like, 400 base hits, take him out, you know, take out the reindeer. So he's tasked with taking out Chopper. So he starts coming at Chopper with, you know, firing all these different shots, and Chopper's having to shrink down, and he's thinking, and he's like, what the hell am I going to do? He goes, he's like, you know, he winds up using, he's got the rumble ball active or whatever, or maybe pops another one, I think. It looks like he pops another one. But, and he goes and he does his scope to try to find a weakness. While this is all going on, Usopp is running for his life, right? Miss Merry Christmas, he's coming after him, you know? And she's going and she's trying to, you know, nail at him, swat at him. She winds up going, and it's great because she does this mole banana, where she basically kind of like fishtails up out of one of the holes and tries to attack him with her claws first, you know? So she's doing this, and there's this funny side picture, and it reminds me of like the cartoon of Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote. I know I refer to Looney Tunes a lot, but it's something that I grew up seeing a lot, and that's all I can picture the way it's drawn, because it's this side view, and you see, banana, and he's like, oh! You just picture him like dodging each and every one just barely, right? Coming out unscathed. Or with very little, you know, contact. So then he goes and he's like, oh man, if she keeps on this trajectory, she's going to wind up hitting this, and he sidesteps it, and she goes, and sure enough, as she's digging under, boom, nails this wall, right? And part of this ruins that they're fighting at or whatever. So he's thinking, oh, that's great. That should lay her out, you know? Well, then the whole god-darn structure winds up coming down, you know? And again, it's like ruins, so it's just a couple of pillars and a portion of a top of what a building, I guess what once used to be a building. So that all crashes down, and he's thinking, oh man, all the rubble fell on her. That's great, you know? So he says something to the effect of the penguin lady is done, right? And she goes and pops out like, surprise, you know? And she's like, I told you I'm a mole, damn it. So she goes and grabs onto him, right? And she goes and goes to do this move where, I forget the exact name of the move, mole, so whatever it was, something. Basically, she's doing to him what he did to her when he lured her in, you know, into the nail in the wall, because she goes underground, but she's like holding on to him as she's dragging him along with her, and she just goes and just wipes him out into a wall, you know, and obviously hurts him, you know. It's kind of cool because while this is all going on, you see flashes back and forth of Chopper, and then all of a sudden Chopper is kind of like, he's like, okay, I got the weakness, you know? So he's like, Usopp, stay away from her, you know, or stay away from the mole lady, you know? And Usopp's like, you don't gotta tell me twice, and he's still trying to move and run and dodge, and it looks like Usopp's a bit bloodied now, he's missing a tooth, you know? I don't know if they just have extra bags of teeth or what, but I've seen quite a few characters that look like they've got a knocked out tooth, you know? And I don't know if it's just supposed to be drawn that way to give you the effect of that they're like kind of bloodied and beaten, so I may be naive to that because I'm new to manga and just kind of the shonen manga. But I just think it's funny because you see this picture of Usopp running, and he's got his mouth open, you know, and he's missing a tooth. You know, clearly, I think it's just to kind of show the wear and tear that's taking on him in the battle. So, but anyway, so then we wind up getting, the chapter winds up coming to kind of a cool close after that, because we wind up getting, of course, Mr. Four the whole time is, you know, he's trying to swing and hit. He's hitting fly balls, he's hitting curve balls, he's hitting whatever of these exploding timed balls. And basically, what Chopper does is he winds up luring him into shooting them where he wants them to be shot, and then they go and you see, and after Usopp says, you don't gotta tell me twice, and he's running from Miss Merry Christmas, then the next page is like this double page spread for the end of it, and there's just this huge explosion and just shit caving in everywhere and stuff, and you're like, what the hell is going on? And Chopper, what he did is he found out that the weakness was, okay, listen, the mole over here, Miss Merry Christmas, is popping around creating all these tunnels and everything like that. Well, this network of tunnels underneath, this little, you know, city of tunnels, so to speak, underneath the sand or underneath the ground over here, it's basically, you know, a good jarring explosion will wind up collapsing this whole thing inward. And that's what winds up happening is that, you know, a stray or maybe several of these stray exploding timed, you know, baseballs from Mr. Four, the cleanup hitter, wind up hitting in some of these weak spots, and the whole, you know, kind of infrastructure just kind of caves in and on itself. So I don't know if they're done, if there's any more that they got left in them. Either way, though, I think this is a really kind of, it's a testament to Chopper, and because we don't know a lot about Chopper yet, but I have a feeling that even with his power, he's not like overpowered. He's not super powered. You know, he's maybe above average as far as Usopp goes, but it's really neat to see Usopp and just kind of his smoke and mirrors trickery, you know, the lipstick on the pig thing that I was talking about earlier. And then, of course, Chopper being able to use, you know, his brain boost that he can do and that scope to kind of go and find a weakness. So it's really, to me, it's a testament for characters that are not that strong rising above their level, above their power level or what have you, to go and take out enemies that are much stronger than them. Just like when Usopp, we really saw him kind of come into his own and finally be a big part of the group back in Arlong Park when he took out Chu or whatever Chu I think his name was, and obviously that fisherman was much stronger than he was, but he was able to go and to take him out and to overcome those eyes. So I think that's very cool. You know, ultimately that is what my chapter question is going to be. I've heard many different things about that's the monster trio and these guys are weak and these guys. I don't know about in the future and what happens, you know, forward from here. So you got to bear with me being only about 200 chapters in. But what do you think of the combo, you know, the combo of Usopp and Chopper? To me, it really seems like you have a couple of really sharp thinking type of fellows there, because even Usopp goes and makes mention of, you know how before he would say, oh, I got 8 million men behind me, which is unbelievable. Well, he went and after he went and laid out what appeared to be laid out Mr. 4, and Miss Merry Christmas, you could tell, was kind of in shock. He played the part, man. Okay, he played the part, and that's what a lot of it is. It's acting as if, and he acted as if he was swinging that 5-ton hammer, and he's like, yeah, I'm a great captain. I'm the one that took out all the other Baroque Works agents, and he's trying to intimidate, you know, and he goes, and I got 8,000 men behind me. And for a second there, I think it works, the intimidation factor. So that is really ultimately my question is, what do you think of this particular duo together? I don't know if they team up a lot in the future or what, but I thought it was really cool. A lot of fun. So leave your answer to the question in the comments down below, brothers and sisters. Feel free to hit the thumbs up, the like button if you should think that I deserve it, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We look forward to catching you in the next one, nation.
As always, brothers and sisters, thank you so much for watching, liking, commenting, rating, subscribing, and sharing, and spreading the word of the nation. Hey, Arlong, did you lose?